This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for June 3, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, 3 shot dead in Clarendon. 3 men were gunned down at a shop in Kilsyth, Clarendon, near the primary and infant school on Friday night. The news understands that sometime after 9 p.m., a group of people were at a shop when unknown assailants opened gunfire at them. 3 of them, who are said to be from Frankfield and its environs in Clarendon, were killed. Woman accused of ordering deadly Portland shooting remanded. Jordan Jackson, the 28-year-old woman accused of hiring a contractor killer to carry out a deadly attack in Port Antonio, Portland on Labor Day, was remanded Friday when she appeared in the Portland Parish Court. Ms. Jackson, who was charged with 2 counts of murder and the shooting earlier this week, is to return to court on June 13. Shade Pink, 28, of Campbell Avenue, and the 23-year-old Akina James of Johnstown District were shot dead at a gathering on May 23. It is reported that the victims were among a group of people playing dominoes on Campbell Avenue in Port Antonio sometime after 11 p.m. when a car drove up. A man alighted and opened fire on Miss Pink, who was the intended target. Mr. James was also wounded. Both were later pronounced dead at hospital. Investigators say Miss Pink, who was in an advanced stage of pregnancy, was targeted as part of a love triangle. Investigators further allege that Miss Jackson, who is also pregnant, drove the hired killer to the scene and pointed out to Miss Pink. The getaway vehicle was later seized in St. Mary. Student pilot gone missing in the corporate area. 29-year-old Javian Ferguson, student pilot of Lincoln Road, Kingston 16, has been missing since Wednesday, May 3, 2023. He is of dark complexion, slim build, and about 193 centimeters or 6 feet 4 inches tall. Reports from the Kingston East Police are that Ferguson was last seen in Kingston at about 7 a.m. wearing a pink polo shirt and beige dress pants. All efforts to locate him since then has been unsuccessful. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Javian Ferguson is asked to contact the Trenchtown Police at 876-839-6875, the police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. St. Anne Police following strong leads in 94-year-old's murder. The St. Anne Police say they are following strong leads into Thursday's fatal shooting of a 94-year-old retiree in Brownstown, St. Anne. Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell, head of the St. Anne Police, said retired Public Health Inspector Kenneth Donner was killed at his home in Huntley District in Brownstown, despite cooperating with an intruder who demanded money. Mr. Donner was at home with his helper about 4:30 p.m. when a man with a firearm entered through an open front door. The intruder demanded money. It is reported that when the helper went to an adjoining room to search for some cash, she heard a loud explosion. When she returned, she saw Mr. Donner lying on the floor in a pool of blood. SSP Powell said the area is not known for criminal activity.
The information that I have surrounding this incident is that about approximately 4:30 p.m. yesterday, Mr. Donner was at home along with his helper when they were pounced upon by a lone man armed with a firearm. The man entered through an open front door. The assailant demanded money. I am told that the helper went to an adjoining room to search for some money, but whilst there she heard loud explosion. And when she returned to the spot where Mr. Donner was, she discovered him lying on the floor in a pool of blood. What I can say is that Huntley Brownstown is not one of those areas that we are seeing any upsurge in crime. And this incident, though remote, may stem from an attempt home invasion robbery situation. So we're using the opportunity to appeal to the residents who may have information that can help us to bring resolution to this matter.
Illegal gun found at abandoned building in St. James. Cops assigned to the Mount Salem police station yesterday seized a prohibited weapon during an operation in Jungle District, Mount Salem in St. James. The police report that about 1:30 p.m., lawmen were responding to a fire in the area when an abandoned building was searched. According to the police, one Browning single-action pistol and 14 5.56 rounds of ammunition were found on top of the building. No one was arrested in relation to the seizure. Investigation continues. British construction workers sentenced to 2 years for cocaine. David Thomas, the British national who was caught trying to smuggle 16 pounds of cocaine through the Sanctuary International Airport on May 3, was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment by the St. James Parish Court on Wednesday. Thomas, a 58-year-old construction worker of a London, England address, was also slapped with a combined $3 million fine after pleading guilty to possession of, dealing in, and attempting to export cocaine. He pleaded not guilty to the charge of conspiracy to export cocaine, for which the prosecution offered no evidence. During Thomas's sentencing hearing, his attorney Michael Hemmings declared that while his client had previously been imprisoned in relation to 20 pounds of cocaine in 2009, Thomas's current involvement in drug trafficking was not of his own free will. Mr. Thomas has a previous conviction some 14 years ago in England for something similar, but he said his doing so now was not voluntary but under duress for whatever reason. He was very cooperative with the police from the very same time of his arrest, said Hemmings. For 14 years he was keeping himself on the right path, and it is an indication that he can be a law-abiding citizen. It is quite unfortunate that he has found himself in this position where he is now at the mercy of a court once more to make a determination as to where his future stands, Hemmings added. He is very remorseful and he wanted to plead guilty at the very first opportunity, but I had no statements at the time and I indicated I would not be in a position as counsel to give a plea without such a disclosure. In handing down Thomas's sentence, Presiding Judge Sasha Marie Ashley said it was unfortunate that the defendant was back in court for the same offense that had previously got him incarcerated. Having walked this path before and having understood the consequences of making those choices, it is unfortunate that 14 years later you appear in court again. You are still a relatively young person and you have an opportunity this time when you come out to really make a change, Judge Ashley told Thomas. In addition to the mandatory 2-year term of imprisonment, Thomas was ordered to pay a fine of $1 million or 6 months imprisonment for possession of cocaine and $2 million or 6 months for attempting to export cocaine. He was admonished and discharged for dealing in cocaine. The facts are that on May 3 at 2:30 p.m., Thomas checked in at the Sanctuary International Airport in Montego Bay to board an outbound flight to Manchester, England, when his luggage was subjected to a routine search. During the search, a white powdery substance resembling cocaine, valued at $3 million, was found in 4 packages hidden inside Thomas's luggage. He was taken into custody and interviewed, during which he reportedly stated he had received the contraband from a certain location, but would not say where or from whom. He was subsequently arrested and charged with breaches of the Dangerous Drugs Act. Thomas is one of 8 British nationals who had been arrested and brought before the court in recent times on separate charges relating to trafficking of cocaine valued at an approximate combined value of $100 million, and the 4th to be sentenced before the St. James Parish Court. Prior to Thomas's conviction, fellow Britons Luca Bradley and Lauren Bartley were each sentenced to 10 months imprisonment and a fine of $1.5 million on May 19, while Ashanta Ferguson was given a 12-month prison term and ordered to pay a $1.5 million fine on May 22. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.